Trained professional moving experts to do the heavy lifting for you. That's why you call Two Men in a Truck, 352-289-0666. They care about your things as much as you do, and they do it fast and right. That's why you call Two Men in a Truck, 352-289-0666. Visit twomeninatruck.com and get moving.
2 Men in a Truck.
Each morning, we wake up thankful to live in a free nation with liberty and justice for all. But sometimes those liberties can be put in jeopardy, and you may have questions about what to do or who to call. Let Doc Blanchard of Blanchard, Miriam, Adele, and Kirkland help you find the answers. Attorneys at law since 1974 and located in downtown Ocala. If you have legal issues, don't go it alone. Call 352-732-7218. Blanchard, Miriam, Adele, and Kirkland, helping protect your liberties every day.
While we may disagree a lot, we do agree Rural King's our favorite place for spring planting.
Yeah, but we've got to focus. Roses, a couple flats of impatiens, and a spade.
A shovel? I'm thinking tiller.
We do not need a tiller.
Wait, a mower. Those new zero turns are sweet.
Focus. Roses, mulch, shovel, impatiens.
Jeez, talk about impatient.
Can I help you?
Yeah,
annuals.
chainsaws.
Let's go.
I'm almost done mowing
You
this
are
section.
ridiculous.
Hello, gorgeous.
Hi, this is Becky at Hello Gorgeous Salon. It's time to get that new look started. Let's get rid of those sun-damaged ends and faded out color and get into something rich and vibrant. Humidity is not your hair's friend. It causes your hair to capture moisture and leaves it looking dry and unhealthy. Hello Gorgeous is a certified Brazilian blowout salon. We can tame those locks, leaving your hair healthy and shiny with a Brazilian smoothing treatment. So let us help you make a great first impression. Call us today to set your appointment at Hello Gorgeous. Our number is 352-351-5358. Again, that's 352-351-5358. And don't forget, we also do men and children's cuts too. 351-5358. Hello Gorgeous is conveniently located in the heart of downtown Ocala. So call today and set up your appointment at Hello Gorgeous Salon at 351-5358. That's 351-5358.
Hello, gorgeous.
That's right. It's In the Garden with Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. She's taking your phone calls at 622-9622. That's the number to call if you want any advice on your garden, your plants, your flower beds, your lawn, anything that you need advice on. The Master Gardener is here for you. Carol Ann, good morning.
Good morning, good morning.
I want to get right into this before we even get into anything else.
All righty.
I saw that there was a op-ed piece, an article written in the Star Banner
Okay.
about the need for Master Gardener volunteers. And they laid out how you could become, and tell people that might not have read the article why it's very imperative and important that there are Master Gardener volunteers to help the Extension Service and all here in Marion County and Sumter County and every county.
All the different counties. Yeah, out of 67 counties in Florida, I want to say that there's 63 that have Master Gardener programs. They're all based out of what are called land-grant universities, which was University of Florida was a land-grant university.
Florida A&M was a land-grant.
And that was back in the 1800s,
Yes.
I think. And those land-grant universities, they are the agricultural colleges, universities in the states that they are. Master Gardeners are not just in Florida. They're all across the country. But here in Florida and elsewhere as well, the county extension became an extension of the university to help in those agricultural programs within the particular counties, because a single university has only so many professors and so many things like that in order to be able to assist out into the communities. And so you had the county extension. Well, the county extension agent, with how much agriculture, needed assistance as well. And that's where the Master Gardener program came in, was to assist the county extension director with homeowner questions and problems
Instead of farmer
instead of the
problems.
farmers'
Right.
questions. Yeah, the Master Gardeners help people with lawn and landscape, small garden, not your big truck gardens, not your commercial, not your horses, not your chickens, nothing like that. Even if you just have a few, they don't deal with those items. They just deal with the homeowner, with lawn, landscaping, garden, herb questions.
And this really came to be, even though it was started in the 1800s, the land extension off.
Right.
The master gardeners really became important when people were making their war gardens and their depression gardens and stuff.
But the volunteer program really only started, I want to say, in the 70s.
Right. But there were people who helped the extension office.
Right. They just were not the master gardeners.
Right.
And the master gardeners are trained through using university information.
Right.
It is all
You went to
knowledge
class
based.
and everything.
You
Right.
go to class. You take a class. It's and you're volunteering to assist back, and that's how you pay for your class.
Right.
Is that, I mean, now you do pay for materials. Now, when I took the class, you were talking about back in the day. Well, when I took the class, there were books.
Right.
We had 3 or 4 big.
There
thick
weren't
books that
PDFs that you downloaded.
No,
and
they
everything.
weren't PDFs. It wasn't even a flash drive, kind of thing where you sat and did no. Which actually I liked having the books, is because guess what? I could write in them.
Yeah.
They're mine.
And you have the notes that you can.
I have the
I
notes
bet
that
you
I
to this
made,
day,
yeah.
at times, go back and
And
consult some of those
reread
textbooks.
and reread some of the stuff. Yeah, now some of it has been updated. So yes, I'll go and look on University of Florida websites instead, and gain to go okay, because a lot of things have changed. I became a master gardener in. Well, let's see, it's been. 31, 41, 51. It's been 26 years.
So 1995.
Yeah.
1996,
yeah.
right around there.
Yeah, 95, 96, yeah. So a lot of things have changed in that time, but it's still, when I became a master gardener, we really learned how to find the answer for the homeowner. That's what we did. We didn't learn it to put it all in our heads like an actual extension agent knows all this information. We put it in our heads of how to find that information.
Yeah, how do we
find
locate
that
the
answer.
answer?
How to find that answer for the homeowner. And now they do a lot more. The classes are more intense, more on a collegiate level, though not a, it's not quite that far in depth. You don't have to, if you're a high school graduate, so long as you were a semi-decent student or an average student, you would be able to go through this. If you have a true interest in horticultural practices and things like that, you do have to go in with an open mind, because they do cover not just organic but synthetic products, and so you have to and cures and things like that.
So the difference between the master gardener at the extension office and a master gardener volunteer, is there much difference? The schooling the same? The learning the same?
The master gardener who's in the office is the same one. I mean, it's the coordinator is obviously they have a higher level of education. They actually have horticultural degrees or whatever like that. That where the master gardener program, because they're volunteers, you're not required to have horticultural degree or botany degrees or certifications and things like that, arboristic certifications. You're a volunteer that wants to help your neighbors do it the right way. The proper fertilizations, the proper prunings, giving the best successes is planting the right plant in the right place. If you get plants grouped together by their needs, you use less water and less other products, whether it's pest control or fertilizations, in a long run. So as a master gardener, you go through your classes, and then you volunteer back your hours. And it's funny because as you go through your hours, of learning while you're doing, and it's just you just start to get this whole thing of going, oh my God, I want to tell everybody. I want to share this. I mean, because my own, when I became a master gardener, I had gone to a few of the classes that were offered over at the extension office, just as, they were the Monday morning, how to take care of your citrus trees, or the Monday afternoon, how to plant spring vegetables. And I was doing those, and somebody said, hey, you've been coming to a lot of these. Why don't you become a master gardener? I think you'd be good. And it was like, well,
do I have the time?
Do I have the time? And it was, and I realized I did, and I did it for myself. I wanted to know more. I didn't do it because I wanted to teach somebody else. I did it purely for selfish reasons. But the more I learned, the more it was like, oh, I want to tell people. I want to be able to help somebody else because I've learned so much. And so it was one of those kind of things that just, you want to pass it down the line.
Now, are you, as a master gardener, are you associated with one county or the other? Because you work in Sumter County, don't you?
I do. My employment happens to be in Sumter County, but I am a Marion County
You're a Marion County master.
master gardener,
Okay.
because that's where I got my certification. Now, if I were to move, if you move your physical home address to another county, something as close as Sumter County, usually you can just transfer your credentials there. But if I were to move, say, down to
Dade County,
I would actually need to go in and redo at least a portion
because
of that,
things grow different down there.
South Florida is a whole different. Or if I were to move to the Panhandle, I would need to update certification. If I were to leave the state, I would go, and if I wanted to continue, I would go, and I would probably retake the course. They may offer a discounted rate, or within Florida you're probably only needing to take portions of it, but because I took the course so many years ago, it would probably be best if I actually retook the new course, only for the sake that so many things have changed, so many practices have changed over the years. Just as an example, people, anybody old school may remember diazinon or Dursban, as they were the number one chemicals we threw on our lawns to kill the insects. They're not on the market anymore, not for the homeowner.
We found out they were a little more dangerous.
Well, and it was just that they were not necessarily more dangerous, but overused and misused. And for them to redo, and so that some chemicals have changed over the years. Found better things that work better, that were maybe a little more environmentally friendly, or that did not need to be used as often in order to get a decent control.
When I read the article, I thought it was a really good article that explained why it was imperative that there are volunteers, because without the volunteer, it would be almost impossible for the homeowner to get, the masses, to get very much help.
To get the information. I mean, how many times the Speakers Bureau that the Master Gardener program has, the outreach they have is massive. Look how big Marion County is.
The largest county in the state.
We reach to, I believe, almost all the libraries on a regular basis. At least the Dunellen, Bellevue, Ocala Library. I know those three. Reddick, I think they do in Reddick at least occasionally. The homeowners associations and many of the communities all have garden clubs that master gardeners get invited to and do presentations there, some on a regular basis. The downtown farmers market and things like that, they go out to those events, as well as the events set up by master gardeners themselves, the spring and fall plant sales, the Master Gardener Spring Festival. That's a big educational program that master gardeners put on for the whole community all at once, is inviting out. And how many seminars are held during that time? Just chatting with somebody, you get your own little personal seminar in a way.
Right.
And that's what you've got here with myself. And this program, if anybody's new to the area, has been around, though it's changed the title of the show over the years, but started, over 30 years ago, probably 35, 40 years ago. Bill Phillips was the county extension agent at the time, and he did a program, and I believe it was on WOCA, WTMC. Also was a station here in Ocala. Welcome to Marion County. And did a program, and it was an extension of the extension. Suzanne Sheffett was the Master Gardener coordinator. She began doing that program. I picked up in it when Suzanne would go on vacation.
Yes.
And things like that. It would be like me and another Master Gardener. It was like, I don't know if I can do radio. And it just it's so easy to, again, just, I'm talking to you, but I'm talking to everybody out there.
What are you telling me, that radio's an easy job and anybody can do it?
No, but it's a lot easier than you think to come on and talk to somebody.
It really is.
Yeah,
it really is a lot easier than people think.
Yeah, because I don't do well doing public speaking, and people go, but you do radio. I said, yeah, but I'm talking to 3 airplanes and Tom.
Exactly.
And to whomever the caller may be. I'm not standing in front of 60 people trying to keep my line of thought going in a straight line.
You just have to think of everybody in the audience naked.
Well,
You'll be
it's
fine.
not that. I just lose track of where I'm at because I just get going on a tangent.
I had a teacher in the 5th grade, a debate teacher, said, just think of everybody in their undergarments. And I was like, that would be the worst thing for me to think about, because then that's all I'd be able to think about. I would lose my place.
That's it, exactly. And like the one commercial on TV goes, the guy, the poor little puppet screams. He goes, "What's the matter?" He goes, "Some of them people aren't wearing undergarments."
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yes, Suzanne Sheffett did it for a long time, and you would fill in for her.
Right.
And then when Suzanne left, and
she's
now at the Discovery Center,
she had gotten a job with the school system,
right?
And her flexibility on time was not there, and mine was, and I'm grateful now that it has continued over all these years. That my employer has allowed me this flexibility to be able to come in on Tuesday mornings. There's been a battle off and on a few times with them, but it's like hey, you guys are getting free.
Yeah, exactly.
Free PR.
We end every show with where you're located.
And people do come and find me in the garden center.
Right.
So,
yeah. So, but I just wanted to point out how important what you do as a volunteer and what everybody does, because what you do, people think Carol Ann's Master Gardener, she must get paid.
No,
she gets paid by Lowe's.
That's who pays me. And actually, because I've not really been active over the last few years, I really don't even count any. I don't go to the office, just because my 40-hour work week is really just when I have a day off, it's usually time to spend doing the stuff at home.
And I think that it was good to point out too that Master Gardeners, the whole program was created to help the homeowner.
To help the homeowner, exactly. Not the truck farmer, not those who were beginning to raise chickens for profit or anything like that. We don't do anything about your pets, your dogs. Things like that. We'll help you treat your yard for fleas, but we're not going. The best you're going to get on your pet is that you need to do a 3-prong approach, treating the pet, the yard, and the home at the same time.
And here's how you treat the yard.
Here's how you treat the yard, and possibly around your home. So it's a lot of fun. You meet some fantastic people from all across this great nation, because Florida and Central Florida, we are a melting pot of people from other locations. So it's a fantastic group of people that you can learn so much from, because their backgrounds are so varied as well.
622-9622 is the number to call if you want some advice from the Master Gardener, if you're a homeowner that wants some advice. And when she says, people go, so if I got a half acre of garden, that's too big? No, because you're feeding your family. You're not
right. You might be sharing some with your neighbors down the street, but you're not setting up the stand on the corner.
Right. You're not selling tomatoes on the corner of 36th and 35th.
You're not planting 300-foot rows of tomatoes. Kind of thing. So, but no, if you're planting, even if you're planting enough to can and to share and things like that, that's what we help you with. If you've got an acre of lawn, we help you take care of that. If you have, you've got a 5-acre plot, you're not farming it, it's your home.
I would think, and nothing against the extension officers that work with farmers hand in hand, But a farmer is either growing peanuts, or they're growing onions, or they're growing watermelons, or they're growing honeydew melons. You know, a homeowner is growing his grass. He's growing his trees. He's growing his bushes.
He's got a
got
small
the hanging
vegetable.
plants.
He's got a small vegetable
garden.
plot. He's got some herbs and things like that. Right? Yeah. The other one has got their goats and their cattle, their horses. Yeah. Even if you have 1 or 2 horses, we don't deal with your horses.
Right.
Call the county extension. They might be a pet, but master gardeners don't deal with that because it is much more specialized.
But you still deal with a lot because
Yeah.
you deal with flowers, and you deal with trees, and you deal with bushes,
deal
and
with
you deal
lawn,
with gardens.
deal with disease issues, weed issues, and the master gardeners being able to reach out and speak with the public. We are many times that first sentinel, if lack of can't come up with the right word there, on issues that are happening in our environment, whether or not it's an invasive species that, maybe we've gotten an alert
Pine
from.
beetles or something
Pine
like that,
beetles
yeah.
and things like that, or up north they have, they've not come down this far, and I don't know if they would survive down this far. The spotted lanternfly that they've got up in northern states, that is just a horrible. It's an invasive.
I don't think in this environment that
I don't think it'll
it's too
make it
hot.
this far down. Exactly. I don't think there's enough of a dormancy for it. But there's other pest issues that are that we can monitor. What was the one? There's a new spider. And basically, they're not going to call him. It's an exotic species, but they're not going to call it invasive because so far it's not showing. And I forget. And I had posted something, and for some reason, my posting vanished. So I don't know if it was just a short. I don't know why it vanished, but it's a spider, and it sounds like it's going to be about the size of what we refer to as a banana spider. That's not actually a banana spider, but the golden thread orb weaver, the great big one. So it looks like it's about that size and is going to set up webs the same way. It's just it happens to be like reds and blues. So kind of
just looks
be
different.
pretty. Yeah,
the color's different, but it looks
yeah.
like a banana spider.
Yeah, that's
Which,
what I'm
by the
thinking.
way, is not a banana spider.
It's not right. It's not a banana spider, but it's a golden thread orb weaver. And this one had another name, and I don't recall. And like I said, I went and I looked for that, and it's like, oh, it disappeared. My post vanished.
I was something you were talking when you were talking earlier in the show, and you were talking about people you're gonna meet with. I was surprised when you said, but now it makes perfect sense once you think about it. When you said HOAs constantly reach out to master gardeners and it, there's a myriad of reasons HOAs would reach out, but one of them would be an invasive creature that's maybe wreaking havoc through the neighborhood.
Right, and they do work with the different groups in order to there for a while, and a lot of these gated communities, you had to have St. Augustine turf, had to. That was, if your grass died, you had to replace it with St. Augustine. That has changed. Now there's options. I mean, you check with.
Yeah, but I
HOA,
remember there was St. Augustine. I mean, it
everywhere,
was a requirement.
and then but then the watering and all of that kind of requirements that turf required. It was like, well, wait a minute, this is not ecologically the best type of grass for this area. If my turf dies off, if I want to replace some, and even adding flower beds, that they had required a certain amount of lawn area, and you couldn't change that. And a lot of these things have changed because they've learned that adding flower beds uses less water, less fertilization, less pest control, and that it's a better impact to the environment than just green grass that needs fertilizer and water all the time.
I know.
And pest control.
My in-laws back in the 90s lived in Augusta, Georgia,
Okay.
in a private gated community. He was deputy commander of the base there and lived in a private gated community. And their HOA had rules on how big the straw beds around their trees could be.
Oh, how wide out. Yeah, yeah.
And you don't think about things like that, but all that is part of what a master gardener would help you with.
But would be
how to, the straw beds can only be so big, but how can I still protect the root system of the tree? Because
right.
up in North Georgia, in Augusta, it gets a little chilly.
It does,
So-
but everything that's growing there is usually acclimated to
right,
those areas.
but I remember that General Barron would have the extension office, the master gardeners would
right,
come out because he never wanted to get in trouble with the HOA because he was gone so much as a general.
Right.
And so he would have them come out and literally every spring
make sure that he had done it right.
To make sure that what he had done, because it was with it, he knew what the HOA issue was. And then he wanted the master gardener to make sure that within the guidelines of the HOA, he was still protecting all these plants and flowers.
Right, what he was doing
properly.
Right, yeah.
Right.
And that's it too. Is some of these and some of the HOA rules and regulations over the years have worked in more with the Florida friendly practices, and I think they I think we changed the name of that, or it's like Florida friendly landscaping, FFL practices, to where if you come into an area, you can't turn it into a jungle, but that you can change some of the landscaping and things like that. Now, you may have to care for this stuff yourself, because what they put in, they would take care of. What you change, you have to take care of. But that they have eased some of those restrictions and
things that work better. I know a lot of HOAs have come in and changed how they do things because master gardeners have showed them things that work better.
Work better, exactly, and that's what it is. But anytime if you happen to be in a gated community with an HOA, always check with them before you do it. Nobody wants to spend a few $1,000s and then turn around and be told, you can't do that.
It's all got to come out.
Yeah, you can't do that. In this situation, it's better to ask permission than forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
Most of us operate the other direction.
I always operate the other way.
So,
but then you got some HOAs, thank goodness, that have a list of rules, but then they only as long as you, like I know a neighborhood here in town. As long as your grass is kept cut good and your landscape looks
right. So long as you're not, you're
supposed to have bushes around your pump blocking its view.
Right.
You're not supposed to have chain link. This is one neighborhood. There's supposed to be no chain link fences.
There's a lot.
There's like 84 houses in the neighborhood. It's like 82 chain link fences. But you're not supposed to have chain link fences.
Not supposed to have chain link fence.
So,
well, maybe you have to plant bushes in front of it to hide it from the street.
Who knows? We'll be back after this timeout with Master Gardener Kellyanne Baldwin.
USA Radio News with Lance Pry.
The U.S. Department of State ordered all non-emergency government staff in Shanghai, China to leave immediately. The Chinese Communist government, in response to surging COVID-19 cases, is tightening pandemic restrictions exponentially. The city's 26 million residents are ordered to stay home, no exceptions, not even for food. Shanghai last night, people